Hi and good morning. It is the pre-market for 5/6/2019. Time is 5:21 in the morning. Looking at the weekly here, we can see that we're going to start off in a big down way. This is off of the news of the Trump tariffs with China. And if we were to somehow manage to continue down, I would think that we would trade into this volume node down here and then get a big bounce. This could go both ways today. I think it could be a buying opportunity for people not afraid to buy the dip. Our daily range right here, calculated off the ATR, which lines up really good with this pivot over here, this small little pause right here, for the lower extreme, and for the higher extreme right underneath this volume node. So I left these arrows, which I had in place and didn't move, and you can see that we're kind of trading right where I thought we had originally traded down to and bounce. So I think that's still in play right there. 60-minute, I find that the volume down here is pretty interesting. Look how much volume we've had overnight compared to any other day. So it's very active. They are trying to keep this market up, as you can see. And notice where the market actually opened right on the volume node. And if you ever trade gaps in the morning on regular stocks or whatever, this is kind of the technique that they use in order to find bounce locations. So they look for the volume nodes underneath and expect them to kind of hold. As you can see right here, we fell and then we traded down into this bottom of this volume node right in here. So you can see that it went right to the top of this node. And so we're stuck in pretty much that range right at this point. So we already covered the weekly, but let me cover this real quick. So I had this is the range. This is the kind of the last little swing right here, and 100% range extension would take you down to here, and then 100% range extension of that, and 100% range extension. You can see that the levels line up perfectly with, you know, where we found support down here and where the resistance was. So I just wanted to show you how you calculate that out, and I've been talking about this 3027 kind of level right here as the target, and that's basically how I calculated it out right there, so that you're just kind of aware. Again, the daily with the range matches up. You have the exact same thing as presented on the other chart, and I have like the 50% levels also marked off in here. So this would be our first place, and that would be in between those two levels. So the 50% pay off real well. I had drawn this in last night before the trading had started. It never reached kind of this level right here, but when I was looking at the chart and everything, this seemed like the spot that I would be most interested in for a long trade, right underneath this big volume node against this big node right here. There's just like a lot of support against this right here, trading levels. This really seemed like kind of the range to get the bounce, but it never even got there. So this market is really strong. I expect the up move to continue. 60 minutes. So if you kind of bisect this whole trading range, you can see that, you know, we're basically trading in two kind of boxes. And this is what the profile of this stuff up here looks like, and this is current. But you can see again, when we fell underneath the volume node right here and basically traded all the way down. And where did we go? We went to the top of this node right here, or the bottom of this node, depending on how you kind of calculate it out. But you can see you get your first bounce right here, which was the top of this node right here. Weak bounce, falls through, tests the bottom of the node. That's a common pattern that I keep on trying to explain, that, you know, you get your first bounce on the top, you get another bounce on the bottom, and depending if you know, the stock or the market's going to hold, it's going to bounce off of one of those two levels or keep on going. And so that's where we're trading right now, and it kind of fits perfectly into this kind of bisected box that you can see, you know, really kind of holds the entire pattern here. It looks very symmetrical, so I really like that. You can see on the intraday chart, no arrow there, come on, won't give me an arrow, there we go. Came down, found some kind of support, traded back up, broke that level, so we basically broke structure at that point, got weak, fell all the way back down. You've got now a higher low in place, and now we're back into this other range where it pretty much matches with this this level and this level right here. And you can see, you know, that's where the volume was, and we're kind of holding above that. So the fact that we're not trading back down in here right at this point seems very positive for the market, for a you know, buy the dip type of moment. You can see that definitely this was the kind of the level up here in play that's kind of holding the market down. So I would say a break up above this, and we're going to get going, and I expect them to kind of take care of that pre-market before we start trading. Interesting that we're already, you know, I'd already drawn these lines in before this had developed, and it's playing out right now as far as the levels go. But I do see, unless the CTAs jump in and sell, I think that we'll have a positive day. So we're real close to this 2900 to 2890 level. This is kind of the range where if we were to break underneath the 2890 level, I think that's a trigger to the CTA, which is the algorithmic funds and stuff like that, that we would probably, you know, get more selling in the market. So they really want to keep it up here above this 2890, and more likely they want it up over this 2900 level in order to keep from flushing the market, because we're back down into sell territory for those machines that kind of follow the trend. This would be a sell signal down here, and they would continue to hold their longs as long as we stay up above this area. I don't know if there's anything in particular. I see some good resistance right here, right in this node that we came up here. So very top of the candle where we kind of started our sell. I don't consider this a good level. There's definitely some volume right there. You can definitely get a scalp off of that. That's above our range extreme for the day. and then this area right here would actually be a good long. So I'm looking at the top of this candle, and kind of the tops right here would be good, but I think they'll buy the market. Like, they've already sold quite a bit, so not sure if you'll get more selling until you get up here. I think most of it will be buying. Just calling that out there. Heads up that they have a new like super midi for the ES. Ticket symbol is MES on the futures, and I think it's $5 instead of the $12.50. I think it's $5 to trade profit loss for each tick instead of $12.50. So if you're trying to get into futures trading, this might be one of the paths that's a little bit cheaper and a little less risk. So going to be keeping an eye on that today to see how that works. Symmetry in the market. I took this first upswing right here. That looked like it held. It has nice symmetry right here with the bisection, and you can see that it's already keeping within the ranges right here. So the next range is actually the top of this guy. Next range is actually the top of this, and then we'll just continue up. And so I've kind of already marked that out, and we'll see how that plays out at the end of the day. I think that's about it that I can kind of tell you as far as the chart goes. Can't really see anything else. Again, we're looking at this area up here for a short, so kind of be careful. You got a little bit of volume right in here, which matches up with the second candle that I've got right here, but I think you have to get into this volume right here in order to be safe on a longer short side. So I'll see you at the end of the market. Good luck trading.